Welcome to the GLP-1 Collective.
Welcome to the GLP-1 Collective podcast. I'm Amanda Bonello, and today I'm going to be sharing an interview with Jesse Kesner, the co-founder and CEO of Alnu Health. Alnu Health is an AI coaching platform specifically created for GLP-1 patients. This is not a paid advertisement. I found value in this Harvard-backed app, and I am super excited to watch it grow. They're in the process of building out their beta waitlist, and they're looking at launching this September. So make sure that you get your name on the waitlist using the link in our show notes. I thought that what Jesse was building was incredibly impressive and very much needed, and I think that you will too. Make sure that you stick around to the end for some important announcements. Is it an app or is it a web-based program?
Well, we're starting with an app. So kicking off with an app, and then we'll eventually expand out, but app to start. And so great to see you again, Amanda. Thank you for having me on. I'm Jesse Kesner, and I'm just a kid from the Midwest. I think as we chatted a little bit about last time, growing up, I struggled with adolescent obesity. And I think as many of us who've struggled with or continue to struggle with obesity, that kind of sticks with you for life. And a lot of folks in GLPs now who maybe are no longer classified as clinically obese, like that mental state still stays with you. Kind of growing up in the Midwest with adolescent obesity, it inspired me to always want to work in the health and wellness space. And so after college, I started off supporting consumer health companies on their strategy. I worked at a consulting firm. I spent some time at Peloton. I still love Peloton.
That's awesome.
In the consumer health space. And then I moved into consumer health kind of investing in New York City. And I always knew I wanted to do my own thing in the space. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, also always wanted to go to business school. So kind of as a joke, I applied to Harvard Business School and tricked someone there, I guess. And I wrote my whole application around, this whole journey of struggling with adolescent obesity in the Midwest to wanting to build something in consumer health. And now I'm kind of living it. And so the summer before starting at HBS in Boston, I went back home. I spent a lot of time with my family in the Midwest, and everyone's on GLP-1 today. All of the GLP-1s, so kind of a full spectrum. The health outcomes are just absolutely phenomenal that I've seen, just completely transform their lives. But as we all know, like they do come with some downsides, and just it's a tool in your toolkit for your health and wellness journey. And a lot of times some of the lifestyle intervention stuff is not as accessible. And so kind of with that insight, wanted to build Alnu Health, which is effectively your AI companion to help be your personal guide through your GLP-1 journey and help you own your GLP-1 journey.
Absolutely phenomenal. And before we continue, I do want to say this is not a paid interview. I reached out to Jesse because this just looked like something that was severely needed in our space. And I love AI, and I know we'll get into that more, but the fact that you can train it specifically to you just seemed fascinating. And I'm so excited to see where this goes. Let's continue. Tell us all about how it works.
Perfect. I guess the first and foremost, like from the beginning, once I got to Boston, I was like, I've done all this consumer health experience, but I am not a doctor. And like, there's so much information out there, a lot of times not from clinically backed folks. And so I was like, I need to build something that can basically scale the best knowledge from these obesity medicine doctors and dietitians to the world, like to everyone on GLP-1s, regardless if they're in rural Illinois, like my family, or, in the heart of Boston. And so basically worked hand in hand with them and their patients to develop an app that can support patients. Basically what we're kicking off with, as I mentioned, is AI Companion, which is an app you can have on your phone where you log your shots, whichever GLP-1 you're on. You can track your side effects. You can easily log nutrition. So there are so many like nutrition apps out there that historically have been like manually logged, and like I've used them. They're very tedious. You can just kind of take a picture and it will like auto analyze it for you. And then we're doing also similar to kind of what I had supported at Peloton, like a strength training app. As we know, muscle mass loss is one of the main long-term side effects of GLP-1s. And so it's like, how do we create a strength training program that meets people where they're at, whatever their level of fitness, comfort around activity and fitness is. So those are kind of the core features. But what I love is this kind of new day and age where we can add in this AI component, where once we have information around all of these kind of components of someone's journey, what it is we've trained an AI with the clinical advisory board that we have, these doctors, to basically look at this and then provide custom personalized advice. So like Amanda, let's say suffering from some bad constipation. Sorry about that.
Okay, that's happened. Okay. Serious territory now.
Exactly.
My mind.
Well, you're not alone in that, first off. Like, up to 50% of people experience that. That's also the whole thing with this. It's like none of these experiences are unique. Everyone feels this. And like the more that we all understand that we're all on this journey together, it's so just kind of important that like we are a community. Like you're building this community, like we're all a part of it. Like no one should ever feel alone in this experience.
Thank you. And you're absolutely right. A lot of these symptoms are pretty common. And if you know how to manage them, it makes life so much easier and it makes the medication so much less scary, which is super important. How does your AI help with something like constipation? You say, I've got this problem. How does it help?
So there are a couple layers of how it can help, like depending on how much you use the app. So basically we've trained with our doctors, we've trained the responses so that it's basically like you're getting the same advice that a dietitian from Brigham and Women's Hospital or an obesity medicine doctor would give you. So let's just say I'm experiencing constipation, you'll have that generic response that you can get from ChatGPT. Well, it's not clinically backed, but like you can get that from kind of online or ChatGPT. What's like super exciting about Alnu is that, let's say, Amanda, you've been tracking kind of your food and taking some pictures of it. If you go into the Alnu health coach and say like, I'm constipated, like what can I do to help? The Alnu health coach has, the insights from the doctors, but then also has the nutrition items that you've logged. And it can say, well, Amanda, like you're feeling constipated, but like you also haven't had any fiber, or like you haven't logged any water in the past, 4 or 5 hours. You need to hydrate, like get X amount. Here's some of the best fiber based on your dietary restrictions that we would recommend. And then also like your steps have been down a little bit. And activity is another core way to kind of get things moving, both literally and figuratively. So having that personalized guidance kind of with the clinically backed nature of it is I think what really excites us.
That is super, super cool. I love that because I did use ChatGPT first when I got constipated. And I was like, God, how am I going to get the correct answer out of this thing? Because there are actually a lot of answers and I had to give it the full rundown. Like, this is what I eat every day. This is what I have for breakfast. I have a cup of coffee with chia seeds in it. And then I drink coffee all day long. And there's collagen peptides in it, right? And this is like all dehydrating and it's fiber, but I got no water. And I gave it the full rundown, but even then it didn't have the answer. I had to go to my doctor and tell my doctor, like, it's been like 3 days and I'm getting scared now because it's a serious problem. If you are not getting things moving on this medication, it's actually dangerous. So, I mean, like for anyone, but on this medication, for sure.
Exactly. I haven't heard of chia seeds in coffee before. I'm a big coffee drinker, so I'll have to test that out. And then on that point, like, I think important just to caveat, like Alnu Health is like, you have an AI health coach. It's not a doctor. Whenever, like, we'll always remind you, like, hey, if you note this is severe, contact your doctors. Like Amanda did the perfectly right thing. Like, we're here to support you, but not replace kind of the provider team.
Well, and I was trying for 3 days by myself before I finally was like, okay, let me just go to the doctor.
Exactly. Hopefully they got you some stool softener.
They just recommended Miralax. Never had a problem again. So for anyone listening out there, you can ask your doctor about Miralax.
Anyone listening right now is like, Amanda, Jesse, this is a shitty podcast. What are you guys doing?
Oh my God. I think they're going to love it. I don't know. Okay. So I love that we're not just Googling anymore. We have the ability to put everything we need to keep track of in there, which is great because I still sometimes forget to take my shot. And it's like, oh crap, next day. And then water. Like I actually have to keep a tracker on my watch to tell me to drink water now because I am just not thirsty and I drink coffee all day. Does your app have the ability to do that too? Like little water announcements?
We'll do push notifications on like, hey, drink up. We have a fun little feature where you like fill up a water bottle. And then you could also do like, I don't know if like you have like a Yeti or a big Stanley cup. But you can put in kind of like Amanda's Stanley or whatever and log specific sizes of beverages or waters that you're drinking, just so you can stay on top of the hydration.
I like that. And then for fitness, if I say I'm losing muscle, what can I do to fix it? My arms feel strong, but I'm sitting a lot and my legs do not. Can this app give me suggestions to fix that?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It does. And like for folks with kind of physical impediments or any barriers, like it can fully adapt sort of strength training programs for that. Also, GLP-1s have such a wide range of folks on it. Like you might have someone who is a power lifter who wants like a powerlifting regimen. I don't. Like give me the like wall push-ups, please. So like it can customize based on wherever someone's at in the journey. Also can customize on like the length of time you want. Like you're super busy, you have 15 minutes between podcasts, you have that, as well as kind of like if you're traveling, you can take a picture of the hotel room gym and generate a workout based off of that too.
Oh, this just got so much more interesting. So hold on. I'm so glad we didn't talk about this when we met the first time.
Yeah.
This is genuine. So not only can you take a picture of your food and then it'll be like, oh, this is how much protein is likely in this, but you can take a picture of your workout space and it can say, use those cans, use that bag of flour. Will it really?
Yeah. We can do that.
Wow, that is so cool. A lot of people don't have access to a gym or are just not comfortable going to a gym. And some people don't have the space in their home for gym equipment. That's amazing. That has me really excited. I am jumping on that wait list.
Please do. Yeah, we would love that. You use like a ChatGPT equivalent as a foundation, and then you can get kind of the best in class research or like strength training programs, which we've worked with like amazing physical therapists and trainers, both kind of from the more powerlifting athlete side to maybe a first timer novice in the gym, which is perfectly fine. So that's kind of the second layer. And then the third thing is the same thing with the doctors, where we'll give it a situation, it'll give us an output of a workout, and then we have an expert look at it and say like, no, that doesn't make sense. It should be like this. And so we've trained it to have more of a clinical oversight than like what just a ChatGPT would have, which is kind of fine today with workouts, but like this is just, a bit better and integrated.
Well, ChatGPT is my second love. My husband is very jealous.
It's my first love.
There's a South Park episode like this. I was watching it with my husband. I was like, oh no, that's me. Going to bed like, good night, honey.
Exactly. Well, don't ask your ChatGPT what your biggest, insecurities are. I did that once. It cut deep. So we'll make sure the Alnu health coach is very supportive.
That's what I was going to get to next. First, I want to say I'm definitely asking that question as soon as we're done here. I am so curious. But I was going to ask about the emotional health aspect and like, what if people are dealing with depression? From what I've seen in the community, it does not seem like people, for the most part, get super depressed on this medication. I've seen a lot of people go the opposite way, where it's like, I finally feel good for the first time in my life, and I finally feel good about myself. But I have heard that sometimes it can go the other way, where people feel like a loss of joy because they're not hungry and the food just isn't tasting the same, and they were a person who loved to eat. I mean, like, it's an emotional and cultural aspect of people's lives. Food can be very emotionally powerful. So to lose the love of that can be emotionally powerful. How would your app be able to help with that?
Yes. So I think that there are two things there. The first is like clinical depression on this. Like that's, we've worked with the doctors to find flags where it's like, okay, where should we escalate to a doctor? And like clinical depression is one of those. So if someone comes onto the app that already has pre-existing or kind of is identifying those feelings, like we immediately say like, contact your medical care provider. We also flag other really kind of important GLP-1 side effects like sharp upper abdominal pain, which is like a pancreatitis symptom, which is one of the more serious side effects. So like those sorts of things that there's medical research around that can be quite severe, that like we, are very, very cautious for. I hear you on the second aspect of it. Like it's so hard. For folks of us with like strong food noise, we have gone years of our lives telling ourselves like, do not eat this, like I feel this and I need to eat this. And like the GLP-1 magically erases that. But then it creates so many other challenges where, now that I'm on a GLP-1, I have this like, I'm no longer hungry, but I still have that voice that I've trained myself over the years to say like, don't eat this. Actually, we have to reframe that because we're humans. Like we need to power our vehicles. And so to have to make that mindset shift and say, remind myself to eat, like I need to prioritize this protein. I need to eat this, like setting those reminders is like a really big mental health shift and not feeling guilty and like trying to sustain yourself. And that's where we have kind of like very compassionate reminders around kind of similar to what I had just described is like, it is not the number on the scale. Like, you do not need to be losing 5 pounds a week. Slow and steady wins the race. Remind yourself to eat. And it's hard because we've trained ourselves to not view that way. And All New Health Coach will also help support you kind of in like reframing this, but then also finding other things like activity. I know one of my family members has lost 80 pounds in just over like a year and a half on Manjaro. That's like so much extra weight that you're carrying around. And now that he's lost that, he's like found a new joy in walking and activity, because like now like inflammation's gone, knees don't hurt as much. Like you are like, it sets off a really great spiral, which then can inspire you to find joy in other activities. So I think that's also like another amazing impact of GLP-1s. But also like people should continue to find joy in the foods that they like. A lot of times tastes shift, but everyone should still obviously continue to treat themselves as much as they can.
Well, I want to say you've touched on what we just talked about with Sharna Brox in our latest podcast interview, where she said that when you're on a GLP-1, you really have to figure out what your new normal is and who it is you want to be now. You mentioned the lack of pain and being able to move more. I actually jumped out of bed yesterday onto one foot. And I thought to myself, like, if I were 60 pounds heavier, I might have really severely injured myself. Well, first of all, I had the energy to do it, but it felt fine, totally fine. And I was like, whoa, that just happened.
Except you're like, where's the next Olympics? Is it LA? Like, I'll be there.
Talked with someone else who said that they once just got up out of bed and broke all of the tendons in their ankle. It's crazy. They've got metal pins in there now. That's what I was thinking about when I jumped out of bed. I was like, "Ooh, this could have been a moment like that." Because I was wondering, like, how does that even happen? This could have been it.
Well, I'm glad that was not the case. And that goes to like I love online. We all talk about like non-scale victories, but it's like a lot of little things where it's like, I see like crossing your legs for some folks, like being able to get up the stairs carrying laundry without like being out of breath. Like that's like, that one's me. It's all these like little joys in life that we're kind of maybe re-noticing for the first time. And like, it's so important to celebrate those and track those when they happen.
I want to say that I think that it's very important, these compassionate words of encouragement when it comes to things like when weight loss stops. Because like you said, you don't want to be losing 5 pounds a week. That is not healthy. Slow and steady wins the race. And a lot of people will be like, I didn't lose anything this week, or I even gained 2 pounds, right? Which could be water weight, could be anything, could be a dookie.
Exactly. The Miralax is working.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know about you, but it sounds like we're very similar in that we are attached to our little AI buddies, and it does feel good to get those words of encouragement from Lil Squidge. That's what I call mine.
I love that. I haven't named mine yet, but
I think that that'll be super helpful. But we were talking about how you lose the ability to want to eat things like you used to, and then you need to realize that it's okay to eat.
Nutrition is so important, and it's not just that, but like the nutrition powers activity as well. Like if you're not feeling your body, I don't have energy to go for a walk, or I don't have energy to pick up a bit of weights. And that kind of goes back to one thing that you were touching on a little bit about the plateau. Plateau, obviously, this is like everyone's number one question, especially on All New Health. It's like, oh my God, I hit this weight. Like, how do I continue on? I think the first thing on that is like medical research shows GLP-1s help with 15 to 20% of body weight, like not 100%. So like you're not going to wither away into nothing. And once you hit that point, then it's like, okay, how do we continue to use the lifestyle interventions on top of that to potentially progress forward? And I think here is where I have this theory that I always talk about with Julia Lloyd, who's our founding dietitian at All New Health. And she calls it kind of the number on the scale theory. Like we've also, similar to the food thing, we've also always been trained around like, I just need that number to go down. Like the lower that number, the better. Actually, that's not the case. It's like what is in that number, muscle and fat are like the large things. If I am eating enough protein and moving my body a little bit, but I'm gaining that little bit of muscle weight and losing fat, my overall number staying consistent, that's an amazing thing. So like we shouldn't be stressing the plateau as long as we're having these lifestyle interventions around it to make sure that we're still improving and still getting healthier, even if that number is not changing. Because at the end of the day, that number doesn't matter.
What you're talking about is body recomposition, where your body weight is shifting from fat to muscle. So you're not seeing the number on the scale move, but you are shrinking and becoming harder.
Exactly.
Right?
I love on Instagram. Sometimes I see people post like, what is this? Like, I have a bicep, like
Yes.
scale victory. I'm going to keep paraphrasing. We should get Julia on here. She's amazing. Like, I'm so lucky to have her, our founding dietitian, senior dietitian at Brigham and Women's Medical Weight Management Center. So I guess, she's been amazing. One other thing she says that I'm going to copy is, I'm not taking this for my body today. I'm taking this for my old lady body or my old man body. It's like these beach bod muscles or whatever that'll pop out. That's great. But like at the end of the day, it's like, I want to have muscle mass when I'm 80 and be able to see my grandkids and pick them up and just create all of these new lengthened memories with my loved ones. And so I think that's also how we can make sure the body recomposition, to your point, is right, not only for the beach, but also for, yourself in 40, 50 years.
That is so true. I saw this article about how we're seeing a shift from young, healthy people to older, healthy, fit people in media for marketing now, because that's the goal. We're all going there. It's where we're going. And people looking fit and healthy and being able to walk upright and move and lift things at an older age without knee replacement surgery or, without suffering into their older years, but aging with grace, is becoming the new hot thing. That's really cool that she says she's doing it for her old lady body. I love that.
I'm doing it for my old man body. So dad bod can move over. It's grandpa bod time.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. So let's shift the focus to the beta waitlist and what that looks like. Can you explain what it is first?
Yes. So basically what we're doing, we built the app with our doctors and a subset of patients. Before we kind of go super broad on the App Store, we just want to invite a handful of patients from the community who are super excited about using something like this. Oh, yes, thank you. Who can help shape it? At the end of the day, I'm building this app for myself. I'm building this app for my family. I'm building this app for my loved ones who I want to have old people bodies with in many years. And the more feedback we can get from these, savvy users, the more helpful it is that when we launch mid-September, we will be able to launch with the best possible product. And also, we're launching with our first iteration. There will be many, many updates to come. We have such an amazing roadmap, which I'm really excited about. So these early users will be an Alnu Health member advisory board for us. And we'll bounce ideas on of should we launch PCOS features? Should we launch telehealth with dietitians? And having really thoughtful folks from the community to guide us and make sure that we're building for, us, for them, will be super impactful for us. So yeah, we're looking to build out the waitlist. We have a couple hundred users now. We haven't been actively building it. And so we're just kicking this process off and wanted to start with, amazing folks like yourself and some other partners.
I'm so excited and so glad that I reached out to you before you kicked it off so that we could be a part of this. There's too many cool things. I took a lot of notes. Can you explain? No, thank you. Can you explain how this invite link that you've given our community works?
Yes. So basically how it works is when they click on it, they get directed to our landing page where they'll be prompted to enter their name and their email. We know that it comes from you because of that link was special. It's something called a UTM code. So basically we'll know it comes from you. And then basically as we release the app slowly out to the initial beta users over the next month, we'll have them at the top of the list and can release that to them. What we're going to do is it's going to be pretty low touch. Basically they'll download what's called a beta version. So it won't be available broadly on the App Store, but they can get it on their own phone. And then we'll just ask folks to start using it and hopefully they like it. There are, of course, always going to be problems and errors. But as those pop up, we will do small check-ins, 15 minutes or so a week, have some error reporting. They can tell us what they love, what they don't love, and what we should do in the future so that we can make sure to build something hand in hand that positively impacts the GLP-1 community.
Very, very cool. You said you have a couple hundred right now. How big are you building out this? It's a wait list, right?
It's a wait list, yeah, and then we'll be able to slowly roll it out in the fall. The more the merrier, but we'll probably do 50 to 100 for the August and early September period, just because getting that feedback is quite intensive. And we're expanding our team, but we're not massive yet. So just kind of managing that process and then prioritizing what features to add will be is super helpful, but it's going to be quite hands-on for us. So 50 to 100.
Okay, I have a couple really big questions then. Can this application help people who are not on GLP-1s?
Yes, 100%. There are a lot of features that it will initially launch with, like the injection tracking, reminders, side effect tracking. We are prioritizing the GLP-1 community to start. Anyone who is not on one, of course, can download the app and use it. There will be some things that they're like, what is this? But we want to support everyone throughout their entire journey on it. So one thing that's in our roadmap is insurance pre-authorization and also step therapy tracking. So if someone who maybe wants to get on a GLP-1 yet, but is either like, trying to get authorized or having to go, this is a whole other podcast session, but having to go through a whole other kind of loopholes to
Oh, yeah.
We want to be able to support them to make sure that they can kind of qualify. And then once they're on a GLP-1, they can then start tracking. And even if they, eventually pause therapy, they can continue to do nutrition and lifestyle tracking. So we want to support everyone in their GLP-1 journey, regardless of where they are. And then also, if you're not on a GLP-1, of course, you can do the nutrition activity features. And I think down the line, in a couple of years or so, of course, we can be general wellness, but like, I want to build this for the GLP-1 community.
That's very much appreciated. You mentioned step therapy and insurance prior authorizations, and there has not just been other podcast episodes all about it, but I literally wrote an article, then made a video reading that article because it's a huge issue. It is a huge issue. So all of the help that we can get there is welcome. Thank you.
Of course, the barriers to access are really, really difficult for something that can extend and be so life-changing. So as much as we can help with that, we are happy to help. And we know that that's a core problem, a core pain point for the GLP-1 community. So as much as we can support that, we want to be able to give back and support not only in health and wellness, but also in access.
That's awesome. How can this help people who are moving into maintenance? Because that is a very scary place for a lot of people.
Yeah. So you can adjust your cadence of the GLP-1. So it'll send you reminders if you take it monthly, for example, adjust that in maintenance mode. But then maintenance, like everything still applies. Like it's still that number on a scale theory. It's the making sure you're, getting the right protein, fiber, healthy whole foods, nutrition can support, and then also support on the activity side of things. So that stays in our roadmap. In the next 6 or so months, we want to launch telehealth with health coaches. Like we know this journey.
That's what I was going to ask next.
Like this is such a personal journey. We are an AI first company, of course, but like AI is not a human at the end of the day. And like people always want to interact with amazing humans. That's what, being alive is all about. And so we do want to bring in these coaches. One of my family members is in maintenance and she still sees a health coach because she still wants to talk about what life is like on a GLP-1, her perspectives on some of the same struggles that she had during her core GLP-1 time to maintenance. You can still do check-ins with health coaches, dietitians on Alnu Health as well. So support everyone across their journey. And even if we can support conversations around going off for a bit as well, and then reinitiation if that's what someone has the means to do or is interested in doing.
There are definitely people who don't want to be on it forever. There are a lot that do, but people are all different. So it would be interesting to see how this app can help every person who's on a GLP-1 journey or getting off of one or trying to start one. It's really cool that it's going to be helping in all these different aspects. You had mentioned adding PCOS.
As GLP-1s get approved or prescribed off label for the multitude of amazing conditions, we want to be able to support them. Like we're not Alnu Health just for those prescribed weight loss. We want to be for type 2 diabetes. We want to be for kidney, cardiovascular, PCOS. And so that's thinking very thoughtfully of like, where can we support someone wherever they are on their GLP-1 journey, whyever they're on their GLP-1 journey, and for whatever features. So that's also kind of what we had mentioned about the like member advisory board is going to be helpful with, because for folks maybe who are interested in having this built into Alnu Health, we would love to chat with them about like, hey, what do you actually want? Like what would solve your pain points and what would you be happy to use every single day so that we can build that in? One of my family members, her why for starting GLP-1s was like to help improve fertility and kind of manage some PCOS stuff, and has since been able to have beautiful, amazing, like I'm now an uncle, like all of that. So like, it's just so amazing, these impacts and kind of positive lifestyle changes that are as a result of these GLP-1s. So as much as we can support folks across all conditions, that is what we want to do.
Well, congratulations. I've been hearing this from quite a few people that they thought they would never be able to have kids, and suddenly they've gotten pregnant unintentionally.
My clinical advisors would slap my wrists. I should say, if you are trying to conceive or pregnant, you should not be on a GLP-1. But all of these surprise babies are it's amazing. It changes your life.
Yes, it is. It is amazing. And it is so awesome that you are not just helping with the disease of obesity or diabetes, but that you are looking at expanding. This is about GLP-1s, right? The GLP-1 Collective. We want to be there to support anyone who needs this medication. And that includes addiction, like possibly in the future, arthritis. We don't know. Cardiovascular disease. The approved indications are going to be common, right? And we want to be there with support groups and information, education, because there's going to be so many questions and it's going to be very new for this whole new group of people. And they're going to need resources. So it's a match made in heaven. Alnu Health and the GLP-1 Collective. It's like they were meant to be.
Alnu Health for the all new group of people being prescribed GLP-1s for the GLP-1 Collective.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm so grateful that we met. I'm so excited to continue this partnership.
Me too. I've got to ask, what about children? How does this app work for childhood obesity, children who are using this medication to lose weight?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. And also, this is like super near and dear to my heart. And one thing that we do want to be able to support at All New Health, the larger like PCOS, substance abuse, like those early features are a bit earlier on our roadmap, but we do want to be able to support adolescent obesity. GLP-1s are approved for adolescents. It's starting from a small base, but like it's growing very quickly. And our co-founding team, we've been having really fun debate sessions around how we can best work with adolescents on GLP-1s, whether that's like, I don't know if you remember Webkins or Neopets, but like, is it an All New Health, but like a bit more gamified? How can we best do it? But we do want to give back to the adolescents on GLP-1s. That's where my whole inspiration for building All New Health came from, and something I wish I had when I was a kid. So I'm really excited about that. And I also think it's an area that is completely ignored. You have to be super, super careful on how you do it. So maybe that's why, maybe because the market is smaller, so a lot of businesses don't want to go after it. But like that's my life goal and mission, is so that other kids, don't have to experience some of the things that I went through, and can have an amazing support and companion. And so that's on our roadmap for sure.
I feel like it's a sleeping market, and that it will wake up, and there will be all sorts of children-made GLP-1 resources. And when you say something like Neopets, I'm thinking, I loved Neopets. I loved it. And even like a Tamagotchi, like give your Tamagotchi its little shot. It would not only help normalize it and empower, a child, but it would help them stay on track in a gamified way that would help the AI understand what their journey is without that child having to be like, today I ate blah, 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 and I did 6 pull-ups.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
someone's going to hear this and steal that. You realize that, right? Someone is going to hear this and make that app.
I think
I got to cut this out.
It's fine. I think Harvard Business School will kick me out for saying this, but like, if someone does this faster, does this better, my goal is to have better health outcomes for people on GLP-1s. If it's me, that's great, because I think I'm doing it with the right doctors, with an amazing team to support people. But if someone does it better, I am happy, because that means the community is growing, getting stronger. And if these kids are getting support, in a better way than if I could provide for them, that makes me be able to sleep better at night. Because at the end of the day, we're a super mission-driven company at All New, and we're building this hand-in-hand with clinicians. We are people on GLP-1s. We're building it for people on GLP-1s. So as long as that impact hits folks at the end of the day, that's all that I care about.
You are a freaking saint, Jesse Kesner. This has been a very exciting conversation. And I will say, I know quite a few moms who are on GLP-1s, had these life-changing experiences, and said, my children are not going to grow up the way I did. They are going to get help now. If you need mothers who can talk about what it's been like from the mother's perspective, I can hook you up. These mothers are incredible advocates because it's their children. There's nothing more important in the world than your children. They'll jump over the moon for their kids. And I'm sure that they would be more than happy to help shape the app to be family appropriate or whatever. We'll talk about it later, but you know what I mean.
That's amazing. Yeah, I would love that. Thank you so much.
No problem. Wow, what a great interview. It was so good. You are really fun to talk to.
I'm sure you say that to everyone. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and at the end of the day, it's the superpower of the podcaster, the host. So thank you. I've loved this.
I'll be honest, in my case, I do not believe that is true. I think it's the people I'm interviewing for sure. I'm trying to get better at it, but you made this very fun. Is there like a final message that you would like to leave for everyone?
Yeah. I mean, as I said, we are building this for the GLP-1 community. We're just super excited to have our early members on the platform because we're here for you and we just want to help you own your journey any way that we can. So super excited to get some folks on the platform. Also, anyone is always welcome to reach out directly to me if there's anything that we're missing or, anything that they want added. Because at the end of the day, we're a mission-driven company. We're building this with leading obesity medicine and dietitians who work day in, day out with GLP-1 patients. And so we're just hoping to scale the health outcomes and scale best-in-class access to lifestyle intervention. And super excited for our members to come on. So thank you.
I will get kicked if I don't ask about the pricing. How much does the beta cost? How much does it cost on release? And I know that you talked about incorporating telehealth later. What are we looking at?
Yes. So beta is completely free, and we have been doing free group coaching sessions with our dietitians. We had an amazing, super powerful one last week, which was fantastic, like a great way to kick it off. So we'll also be offering some of those because the feedback to us is like invaluable. We will be offering a couple free months to early members on the app as well. The whole point of this is to be accessible and scale access to knowledge about GLP-1 usage. We'll offer a free base plan with premium up to $9.99. We're not trying to break anyone's bank. We understand GLP-1s are very expensive. We're just trying to cover the costs here. The beta's free. We'll have a freemium version, which will have a lot of great features. And then we're going to test and iterate on the pricing model as we go.
Understood. And you said it's launching in December?
We're going to shoot for mid-September. I have the app on my phone right now, but we also will continue to do beta tests. Like we'll have an app that's out at the App Store, but we still will need that member advisory to support like some of the additional expansions that we're doing, like PCOS, for example. So folks on that list will still be, instrumental in helping us shape the vision and impact.
When you say member advisory, that's not everyone who's joined the free beta wait list.
Of that beta list, we'll have folks download it. Some people, they've seen a DM from me on Instagram, and then they're like, oh, why did I do this a month ago? Some people will get super, super excited and be really excited to be passionate. And so for those folks that volunteer and do want to support, they can be, part of our member advisory council. And then for other folks, they will be beloved members of Alnu Health, but we won't ask for anything more from them on that.
Okay. To become a member of the advisory board, is this invite only?
No, people can reach out. We're developing like Slack channels. Community is such an important aspect of that, exactly as you know. So as much as we can build community within the app, that's one thing that's on our roadmap that will not be ready by September. So we're going to try to do Slack channels, like ways that we can start getting involved all together early on. That's not built into the app. And so for folks that do want to do that, they can reach out to me directly or enroll in it from the beta. But yeah, we're super open. The more, the merrier.
I know that this is going to be successful. It's an amazing idea, and I am so glad that you're making it happen. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I mean, it's all like we're all doing this in service of the community as everything that you do as well. And so whatever we can do to help. And I'm just super excited that I have some, amazing folks on my team that make this possible. And then also some amazing folks in the community like yourself that are making it possible to get it in front of folks. So thank you.
I have one last question. Before I say goodbye, I'm so sorry.
All good. Ask away. I have all night.
Group meetings with the dietitian that you're talking about. Is that open and like free and open in the beta as well?
Yes, it is. For all the folks that are part of the waitlist last week, I sent out the invite with our dietitian, an announcement, and then I sent them the Zoom link. So we're doing those about weekly. It's an amazing session. Julia, she's one of 4 dietitians at the hospital, and they oversee 10,000 patients on GLP-1s. So she knows it all and is just like so amazing. And we had some great kind of sharing sessions of like everyone's whys, like why they're on GLP-1s, challenges, and she helped guide them. And it was a beautiful showing both from like the early members of Alnu Health, of like being so open and vulnerable with the other members of the community. So we're really excited to continue those.
That is super cool. All right, I'm going to say goodbye before something else comes up.
Well, you have my number, so always feel free to text or call.
I can't thank you enough for sticking it through to the end. I'm going to be in Atlanta, Georgia this November between the 2nd and the 7th for Obesity Week, but there will be a general GLP-1 meetup on the 3rd. If you would like to attend the meetup or you're already planning on being at the conference, then please let me know. I would absolutely treasure the opportunity to meet some of you. If you're not already following us on Substack, then please head over there. This is where you'll get all of the announcements for things like our upcoming event, as well as a chat so that you can ask questions directly from me, and full podcast episodes with blog write-ups and all of the links that you need from the show notes. It's something that I'm really excited to be building out, and I am super looking forward to having you be a part of it. Thanks again for listening, and please don't underestimate how much I appreciate you. Till next time.
Collective. 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 Welcome to the GLP-1 Collective. 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 Welcome to the GLP-1.